I'm going to call the regular Bucyrus City Council meeting for September 30th, 2025 to order at 7 p.m. Okay. Invocation. I had done some researching, and Vicki had mentioned on the last meeting that it was optional. I think I did look at the 111 rules. It doesn't say it's optional in there, but we had some draft rules that were for changing of the 111 that were last year. And I think that's where the optional was in your new draft rules that were never passed.
It says here at all meetings of council and committees, business shall be transacted in a timely manner in the following suggested order.
Okay. I thought it said in parentheses after in the draft minutes from last, or not minutes, but rules, so.
Well, I haven't, and I'm not going to say it doesn't, because I don't have those in front of me, but what I'm saying is, and this is what I had talked about, yeah.
Okay, so since it is in the 111, I'd like to do it, or still have it on there. We didn't have anybody reach out to us from any of the ministries in town. So
Didn't make contact with?
we didn't. We're just relying on them to watch the video and possibly reach out to us proactively.
Question. Would it be possible that we do, and what did you mention, Kevin, when we had talked? Moment of silence? Or a moment of
Well,
reflection?
how about this? Is anybody out there, would they want to come to the podium and do the invocation? Possibly, just a small thing. Just let anybody out there in the... Yeah, come up there, please.
Just a reminder, it has to be non-secular and can't specifically belittle any religion or promote any religion over one or the other.
Well, my name is Jennifer Scribner. My address is 2439 State Route 602 North Robinson. And I'm just going to start off, and I pray to Jesus. You know, I don't pray to anybody else. This is who I'm called upon. So here we go. Oh, Lord God, Father God, I just come before you, Lord, right now, in the name of Jesus. Lord, I thank you, God, for this council. I thank you for this city, Lord God. I ask you, Heavenly Father, that you would come, and we welcome you to come into this place and have your way. Father God, I'm asking you, Lord, to touch every heart, touch every person in this place, Lord. I pray, God, that their heart be open and ready to receive. God, we ask you, Lord, to come into this place and have your way. Let it be done on earth as it is in heaven. Father, I thank you, Lord, for your presence, and I thank you for your glory. I ask you, Lord, to take back this city, take back the hearts of the people. God, help us to love our neighbors as ourselves, as you commanded. Father, I just welcome you to come and have your way and let your will be done. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Thank you for that. Okay, now it's the Pledge of Allegiance. If everyone could please stand and join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Myers.
Here.
DeShawn.
Here.
Scheffler Slater.
Here.
Moritz. Sherrick.
Here.
Spiegel.
Here.
Me.
Okay,
Mr.
granting
President?
Mrs. DeShawn.
Were you going to mention what I had mentioned to you before the meeting? Just read. Do you want to do it?
Oh, if anybody's on council and you're speaking, just please make sure you're close to the microphone. There was a complaint that Vicki had heard.
Not a complaint, it was just they're having difficulty hearing, and they just wanted us to politely ask as council members to speak into our microphones.
Okay. Duly noted. Okay, granting permission for visitor to speak, we have pre-requested Police Chief Dorsey, and I think he has an announcement. Yep, come up there.
This is actually more along the lines of my police report for the month of September. That's why I didn't know if it was going to be out of order for what the normal council procedures are tonight. But to the citizens of Bucyrus, business owners, and elected officials, the month of September has been a very busy and trying month for the police department. We've accomplished some of our goals that we've set out for ourselves, and we ran into some unforeseen obstacles. One of the unforeseen obstacles is we had a dispatcher leave and went to another agency. That left us with only 4 dispatchers. 4 dispatchers is very difficult to try to manage. And I mean, we're doing what we have to do. Unfortunately, that results in us having police officers dispatching. Matter of fact, there's a police officer dispatching right now, and she is getting paid overtime to dispatch. Started looking at the schedule. Later this evening, there's going to be a lieutenant police officer dispatching overtime this evening. I mean, it is what it is at this moment. Once again, it's coming down to manpower, and we're just kind of stuck at this point. I'm going to have to get creative with the scheduling and to do what we have to do to try to make ends meet. One of my goals as chief is I didn't want to have police officers sitting desk, because ultimately it's not fair to the police officer. It's not fair to the citizens of Bucyrus. We are not trained, we are not certified to do some of the dispatching duties. One of the duties is EMD. We can't answer 911. It has to ring out at the sheriff's office. And once it rings out there, they have to get necessary information. Once they're doing that, it takes time. They take the time to get all the information they need, then they call back to us, relay to us, then we send the officer. As you guys know, in emergency situations, seconds matter. That wasted time, fortunately nothing serious has happened so far. What I'm looking at is unfortunately 4 dispatchers is not enough to really run the city. 5 was barely enough.
Excuse me, Mr. Dorsey.
Yes, sir.
Mrs. Slater, could you either shut your microphone off or cease the keyboard typing so it doesn't come through on the microphone?
Felt like I was in court and one of them stenographers.
Are you doing stenography?
I was taking notes, but that is distracting. I
Okay.
can go back to
There's
handwriting
been
them.
some videos I've watched in the past where the keyboard pecking just really picks up on the microphones pretty bad.
That's what it felt like to me. I've been in court a couple times. Anyhow, I believe that hiring 4 dispatchers, which would give us 8, is what we would actually need. I realize that's not, or 2 more full-time, 4 part-time. That's what would be, the ideal situation. Realize with funding, it's probably not realistic. But that would just be, the ideal situation. Or we need to look at alternative measures to keep police officers out of dispatch so we can serve the citizens of Bucyrus. Another challenge we were faced with is currently we have 18 police officers employed, which is well below the 23 police officers what we should have according to the FBI standards, which is the ratio of per capita and citizens, which is 2 police officers for every 1,000, which would put us about 23. how that's important and why that's important is for officer safety. And what I'm going to ask you guys to do is to kind of take a look at this monitor here, but I don't want you to start it yet because I'm going to caution you guys. This happened in Marion, Ohio. Marion, Ohio is just right down the road. This is at our doorstep. I'm going to give everybody an opportunity, if there's young kids watching, if there's anybody who might be sensitive to potential, what you might consider violence, or basically parental discretion is advised right now. You know, just if to give you a second to go ahead and leave the room or not watch the video. Go ahead and start it, please. That was pretty quick, but what's going on there? Those two police officers are on a porch. They're doing follow-up. They're talking to people on a porch. And while their backs are to the road, a car drives by. They start targeting the police officers, trying to shoot them in their back. They specifically were targeting police officers at Marion, Ohio. There's shootings in Mansfield over this weekend. This is coming very close to home. You know, for us to be thinking, this is Bucyrus, Ohio, it's not going to happen here. We pull people over all the time. We look at their driver's license. Oh, they're from Marion. They're from Mansfield. They're from Cleveland. They're from Columbus. They're from all over. They're not just from Bucyrus. You know, it's at our doorstep. You know, it's here. It's happening. It's going to come here sooner than later. Burying our heads in the sand and thinking it's not going to happen is not only naive, it's reckless, it's irresponsible. Over this weekend, this past weekend, we had two officers working when a domestic violence call came in on the north end of town. Domestic violence calls require two police officers to respond, simply because domestic violence calls, statistics shows that's when most police officers either die in the line of duty or they're injured on domestic violence calls. So two police officers are always required to respond. They're both responding. As they're responding, another domestic violence call comes in on the south end of town. This time, the guy has a gun while he's trying to get into the house. So obviously one of the police officers has to pull off to go to that call. So now we have one police officer responding to each one of these calls, what should require two. And one of them has a gun. So Officer Wireman pulls off the first call, and he goes to the other call with the man with the gun. Lieutenant Keegan proceeded to the first call because he was closest to that. Officer Wireman gets to the call, arrests the guy. After he arrests the guy, finds a loaded .50 caliber rifle in the yard. .50 caliber rifle will do a whole lot of damage. I don't know if you guys know anything about guns, but by the grace of God, everybody went home that night. That's what I mean by it's at our doorstep. With only two officers working, it's dangerous. Fortunately, there were sheriff's deputies near town, so they could give us mutual aid, and they did happen to help us. But we can't depend on them. It's a big county. One guy could be up in New Washington, the other guy somewhere down in Guyan, because they usually only have two guys working. My point is, it's getting extremely dangerous, and with only two people working, you know, it's getting way too dangerous. Currently, our minimum staffing is one person in dispatch, two on patrol. By the way, that call, whenever there was two guys responding to the domestic, there was a police officer who was dispatching that night as well. During our overlapping shifts, though, I have noticed officer activity has increased. I've noticed morale's up. I've noticed these young police officers acting like young, aggressive police officers. I've noticed that the reports are written. I noticed we're getting good training done. I noticed everything good, what should be happening, is happening. Public relations are at the optimum levels. Everything looks great whenever we have 3 to 6 people working. But soon as we go back down to 2, these young guys start walking around looking like they're defeated, looking like, I've got to take another call. I got to do this again. You can just see it in their faces that it's starting to be a little bit too much for them. Now, what I'm looking at is hopefully I'm trying to figure out a way to where we can get our minimum manpower back up. It should be closer to 4 people at peak hours. It should be 3 all the time, but hopefully 4 people at peak hours when we get the majority of calls. But 3, it should be a minimum of 3 all the time. And that does not include a dispatch. Now, there was a tragedy that happened in Michigan. I'm sure everybody's aware of it. It's been on the news. Everybody's seen it on the news. You can hear that officer. The first word, some of the words out of his mouth is, I need manpower now, or I need manpower ASAP. We can't do it by ourselves. Trust me, when something happens, we want to go run into that fight. We want to get there, but we can't do it by ourselves. We need people with us. There are people who are willing to do it with us, but we can't do it alone. Now, I'm not trying to get everybody to be completely doom and gloom. On a lighter note, in September, it was National Police Women's Day. I'm sorry, and I do have 2 fantastic female police officers. I do bust their chops every once in a while. One of them in particular who talks a little bit too much. Not going to name any names, Dusty. But I couldn't be prouder of them. They do a great job. They bring a whole different element to them. A lot of times people are like, oh, female police officers, how could we use them? They have a different aspect to where they do use more empathy at times. Sometimes you need that. Sometimes, a female police officer, it is tough because it's a male-dominated profession. Females are very necessary, and I do appreciate what they do. I have had the opportunity to welcome back Officer Johnson. She is on maternity leave. She just had a baby girl. Congratulations. Welcome back. And on to something else. I want to thank everybody who has been supporting our K-9 program. The people who have been supporting our K-9 program and looking at our Facebook page, we've been kind of hinting around about something else, what was coming, and we didn't really want to come right out and say what it was. For Star Wars geeks, you probably figured it out by now, Kevin. Anyhow, as we continue to battle this war on drugs, I started looking around and I look at reports and I see who's really doing what. I notice Officer Connor, he's doing a great job with, his apprehension and detection on drugs on his traffic stops. I'm like, you know what, I need to help this guy out. What can we do? Started looking at the opioid settlement money that we have and thinking of what it can be used for. It says it can be used for the prevention and detection of drugs. What kind of tool could we use what would be great for preventing and detecting drugs? Started thinking outside the box, and I'm like, Let me think. Officer Connor would probably work well with something, I don't know, along the lines of Vader? But anyhow, it gives me great pleasure to introduce you now to our newest asset to our department. This is Vader. He's going to be our newest canine officer.
You didn't even play his music for intro?
I was going to try to, but and I was going to dim the lights, and I was going to have a smoke machine, but we couldn't.
We could have hooked you up with that.
How's everybody doing?
I'll get out of your way. This is Officer Connor and Vader. Sorry for the no smoke machine.
Hey guys, how you doing? I'm Officer Connor. Like Chief Dorsey said, this is my new partner, Canine Vader. That is a Star Wars reference because I am a nerd. So, yeah, Canine Capone and Canine Vader are going to do their best work here in Bucyrus to combat this war on drugs that's costing the lives of millions of people around our country. So, with that being said, I want to say thank you to the citizens of Bucyrus and thank you to Chief Dorsey for this opportunity. Thank you.
Connor.
I've got a quick question for you. One of our residents saw your video on Facebook today with the announcement, and I was asked the question, I didn't know the answer. So did you, I think you alluded to it saying you were the nerd here. Did you choose his name, or did the dogs already come with their name?
So his name, he was imported from Germany. His name in Germany was Hans Jürgen. So I chose his
yell
name.
that to him?
Yeah, no. Vader was much easier to say. So.
And it's German, so.
Yeah.
So typically the dogs do, you name them once we get them?
Yes, yeah, if you chose to, yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Very good.
How about you?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, was there any other, we have another pre-requested public participation, Mr. Greg White.
Before I start, I'd like to note that when the chief was talking, somebody was over here pounding on some kind of tablet over there, and we could hear that all the way in the back. I think that's kind of rude. So, I mean, I can hear it, and I bet you the mics picked it up too.
I wondered if the mics was picking that.
I can hear it all the way back there.
Okay.
All right, Greg White, 1125 Hillcrest Drive. Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening to all, and hope that our elected and appointed officials in this meeting can take the time to listen to all that come to speak to this government body. I find it rude, inconsiderate, and disrespectful not to pay attention. I hope that your parents didn't raise you this way. You might not like what is being said, or you agree or disagree with any speaker, or you believe that someone is referring it to you. That doesn't give you the right to be this way. Many people that I have spoken to have told me people on council need to be removed. Being disrespectful, turning your back to the speaker, knitting while someone's talking, fighting among yourself, and even not knowing how to conduct meetings. One person stated that prayer is needed in this council, not taken out by what Mr. Myers did, that he was so religious, why didn't he do the prayer that night himself? Most of these people, I tell them to consider the source. Look at the behavior and the conduct of these individuals. I tell people, I'm no saint, but the crap that these people do is unbelievable. One person said it's like a damn soap opera on TV. Just look at the number of people watching the show. A couple of you, members of this council, have stated about talking about the issues, the budget, transparency, what's going on, what do we need to do? So when are we going to talk about it? Is it like the legislation that's never going to happen? Or are we going to be too busy to do other things that is not in the best interest of the city? This council only has 6 regular meetings left in this year. unless you call for special ones to finish the work. The Special Economic Development Committee was a disaster. That was definitely a human-made one. We are writing scripts for council members on what they are to do and say. Maybe this is the soap drama that this lady was talking about. And how is Mr. Myers an expert on economic development? As the law director stated at the end of the meeting, why wasn't he put on this committee from the start? Does he have a degree from a college in economic development or a special schooling in this field? I still believe that this was an illegal council meeting within this executive session, with a quorum of 4 council members present during this said executive session. That is why what I believe to be true, that Vicki DeShawn did not attend that meeting. But she is the only one that can say why she didn't attend, not me. I think it was a total embarrassment on how the new director of the partnership was treated. I'm hearing that tapping again. This is ridiculous. Can we stop so we can stop this craziness? This tapping, I can hear.
Not hit it so hard.
This
What
is
are you doing
ridiculous.
with that tablet?
Just taking notes from the looks of it.
But I'm hearing tapping. That's what I'm hearing up here. Nothing but tapping.
Might I suggest that you turn the mics off unless someone is speaking? That might help.
Okay, you continue, Mr. White. I'll keep an eye on it.
No, I can still hear it from right here. I can hear this tapping. This is ridiculous. This is uncalled for. This is unprofessional. I don't need to hear the peanut gallery there.
This is really not how this is
Okay.
supposed to go. We can either keep this meeting going, Mr.
So,
President.
okay, I'll continue, but this is ridiculous. This is unprofessional. Okay, so that they had to come back out of executive session to bring her back into executive session. Just remember, under the OMA, discussions and deliberations in executive session must be limited to the topic set out in the motion that was approved by roll call vote. The public body cannot deviate from the topic. Anything else that is talked about or discussed, mentioned, referred to, becomes public record because it was not about the topic. And doesn't apply to the executive session confidentiality provision. Trust me, I'm checking on this.
I'm sorry, can I ask a question?
No,
How did we
I'm-
find out what was in an executive session?
Let's let Mr. White finish and then you can ask the question.
Uh-huh.
After reading the letter from the police chief today, this council gave out big pay raises, spent money on BS things. But we can't find money for the police department, for officers, for vehicles, for training, for equipment. Where do you stand on this as members of this council? What's your plan? And please spare me the BS that you're working on this, and don't say that you've been looking into this for solutions. I don't think the chief of police would be up here saying what he just said or put it into the agenda tonight. Then why is, like I said, why is the police chief telling us what he and his department need? Once again, don't go there with that. I won't believe it. Nothing's being done. Thursday night committee meetings should be talking about this. Get a plan ready. Let's see. Let's see what can happen. I personally, for months, have asked to bring the budget up and talk about it. And it is in open projects. But Mr. Myers does not want to open this up. Then I ask other members, I'm asking other members of that finance committee to override the chairman. And let's talk about this. Let's sell the out-of-town water lines and pay back the loans, what we owe, $1.5 million? Okay? That was ARP money. Let's look at Rita for the income tax. The auditor only states bad things about Rita, but doesn't say anything about the good. why are all these communities got Rita? But once again, all we hear is negative, negative, negative. There's no positive whatsoever coming out of this council. That office alone could hire at least 3 officers. Let's look at contracting out the EMS service. What money can we save there? I think if you provided a subsidy and a contract, we could probably find a private ambulance company come in and save money. Okay? With 2 units and hard billing. We need to look at the fire department budget. This is ridiculous. Everybody knows that I've complained that there was a scam going on. It's not a conspiracy, but a scam that was going on in the fire department for years about sick time versus the overtime. Because you can tell a fireman, paramedic in this town making $131,000 a year salary last year, plus his pension plan, plus his insurance, that's almost $160,000 paid out to one firefighter, paramedic, and that person wasn't even an officer. One person benefited that much from this city of 11,300 people. There are other ways to save money, but my time is limited. I want to thank you for this time to speak to my government body. Thank you.
Did you have a question, Aaron?
Yeah, I'd like to know how he knows anything about what happened in an executive session.
I wasn't there, so I don't know. Okay, additional public participation. Is there anybody else who would like to address council? Please come to the podium. State your name and address.
Lisa White at 1135 Fremont Street, Bucyrus. Thank you, Mr. President. I stopped at the mayor's office a couple weeks ago and asked him who was actually over the city council as their boss. And he stated, we the people were. So that's why I'm here tonight. I just want to, I'm sorry, I'm nervous. I just want to express a concern, and I'm thankful that you all stood tonight for the Pledge of Allegiance. I appreciate that. I have seen in the past where people have not stood. And I was born and raised here. I am a military family. I have multiple generations that have served this country. I actually had a member killed in Afghanistan in the line of duty. So when I saw people not standing, I felt very, very disrespected. Not only me, the city, the offices that you guys hold, and our country. So in my opinion, and it's just my opinion, that we must stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, and especially while you're here and representing us and our country. I just think it's very disrespectful and unacceptable if we don't. Thank you.
Lisa, can you tell us who didn't stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I would rather not. I don't want to be
I've never seen anybody
confrontational.
not.
I've never seen anybody.
I did not stand for an invocation, but I've never not stood for the pledge, so that's why I'm wondering.
Sometimes when they go to they zoom in, and then when they go to the flag, you see you sitting, and when they go to the flag, we can't see.
Well, everybody stands for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Nobody's never had.
Okay.
Time I've been on council.
Okay.
And Lisa, I don't know if you're watching this, but it can get behind too, so what you're hearing and seeing is a little off.
Okay.
I've never seen anybody.
I just wanted to express my concern as a citizen and a patriot. But thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
You can state your name and address. and
James
then I'll-
Cady, formerly of 216 West Mary Street.
Mr. President, can I ask his current address? You've been saying formerly.
Because I'm not, I live with a friend, I don't have to
There are
go.
rules you have to state your residential address.
Yes.
If I say my address, I'm gonna stay what's on my ID. I don't have to stay where I stay at, but I live here in Bucyrus. when I come in on the weekends.
The law director has previously stated that it's not against the rules to lie about your address, so, you know.
I'm not
some
lying.
people don't even give an address if they claim to be part of the media, so. You continue, Mr. Cady.
All right, question to some people. Some people sit here, you come up here, you question something about the old administration, and then when you question people, it bugs people. Well, Brandon, I took your advice. Kevin also took your advice. Took both of y'all's advice. I called the ethics board. They told me no, they don't handle that. Called Ohio Attorney General's office. They gave me the auditor and the inspector general.
Inspector General.
Yeah, inspector general. So, the thing about it is, Bucyrus wins awards because their money is placed in the right thing. But, when I called, I told them, hey, they $1.5 million come up missing. They found it, it was somewhere else. So, the only way that any of y'all gonna be able to get anything as a public is to get it investigated about the money. You call I told Kylie about it.
I think you said it was the
Ohio Auditor's Office. The woman's name's Terry, and you report it. Terry will come in and then investigate the books dollar for dollar. That's why Bucyrus wins awards, is because their books is audited. It's able to be audited. I just took y'all advice, man. And all this started was because I wanted to know why the CIC was closed. Yes, I talked to Truca about it. Truca said, man, don't let that dude get up underneath your skin. But at the same time, I let it get underneath my skin because it shouldn't have been closed. The money should have just kept rolling in, kept rebuying land, buying the houses that are tore up, and it should have been keep being sold. That should have been the whole thing with the CIC funds. Just like you can't sell to the adjacent neighbor. It has to be sold or where it can develop the city of Bucyrus. And when's the last time a brand new home been built here in Bucyrus? Not by Lutz Brothers, neither. I'm talking about an individual like me, y'all, have put up a home on their own property without Lutz. Been a long time. So, with that being said, Bucyrus is not developing. Everybody want to know why everybody moves away. Well, I'll tell you why I moved to Sandusky. Is because there's nothing here for my kids to do. Been saying that, got kicked out of here for saying that. And it's just the same old stuff. Nobody wants to do anything, just like she said. We the people should come up here and fire everybody and put all new people in before the ending of the year because ain't nothing getting done. Ain't nobody want to investigate nothing. Nobody wants to talk about nothing. Just like the sewer lines. Pay attention, that's one thing. Why ain't they tore them up and put in new sewer lines? Come on, man, those have been outdated for years. They're not dumping, I lived on a lake. They're not dumping no sewage in the lake. Yes, there's a percentage. But Bucyrus, if you paid attention, dude said, Bucyrus is dumping so much more than what they're supposed to. That should have been tore out when they did this downtown. Like downtown Bucyrus. Has anybody ever paid attention? When's the last time downtown Bucyrus been paved? Ain't been paved in years. Got huge roots. Kevin, me and you talked about the semi-trucks. How it's got the roots. Come on, man. Bucyrus is going to hell in the handbasket. That's the best way to say it. And nobody's paying attention to this. But people that are catching on, like myself, I'm catching on real quick. I'm a slow learner, but at the same time, I'm catching on. It's the same thing when Sissy Love sat there. The same thing that council's doing is the same thing this council's doing. Nothing's getting done. Sooner or later, somebody's got to change. I've said this multiple times. Change, change, change. Work together. Nobody's taking the advice. I just hope one day, before the ending of this year, y'all get it together and start doing something. See something get done. That's all I got to say, man.
Hey, James, Somebody did just build a house in the last couple of years up on Mary Street. There used to be trailers there, and now there's a really nice house.
Matt was the last one, you're right, my bad, it is Matt. Yup.
I say that was.
Yeah, that was the last
just saw
one, I forgot about Matt doing
Ryan.
that, you're right, that's the last brand new house.
Also, Mr. Katie, Sandusky Avenue is being repaved next year. It was supposed to have been done this year. The project got put off to next year on purpose to allow us to do our EPA mandated sewer separation. The last time downtown was done, 2011 maybe,
That's always trying to figure out 11 or 12.
2009, they did do.
Yeah, that's when they redid all the sewers.
So that's the last time it was completely done. I think it's been touched up since then, but it is scheduled to be done next year.
It is?
Mm-hmm.
All right, thanks, Kevin.
Yep.
Any other additional public participation?
Good evening. Elena Fox, 401 Ridge Avenue. I did notice the smoke detector is still beeping, just want to make note of that. So if Tommy's the one that takes care of it, or the fire department, I would appreciate that. Also wanted to make note that the Bucyrus Tree Commission is doing their Memorial Tree Program. Information is up on the First Federal Citizens Bank, or Community Bank, sorry. Marquee, it is $200 if you'd like to honor a loved one or loved ones. And the forms that you need to fill out are in the mayor's office. So we'd like to make that purchase, so if you can get those orders in by October 15th, that would help us to make those purchases. And the trees are typically planted out in Allmiller Park, but I believe if you wanted them in the tree lawn or somewhere near your homes, that could be arranged as well. And they do create a nice plaque to hang on the tree to memorialize your loved one. I would also like to talk about a few things that I've noticed in the past couple of weeks, specifically to Mr. Fankhauser. I've noted that you mentioned a white flag and trying to be more transparent, but I do note that the transparency profile that you post under is anything but. Your charade parade of innocence, when you continue to stoke things by berating, defaming, and creating drama, both here in the council chambers and on social media. Imagine if you spent half of that time to be productive and either refrained from being nasty or even better, devoted that time to truly helping make Bucyrus better. What a better community and council this could be. I believe your behavior to be unbecoming and disrespectful to the office as an elected official, and I ask Bucyrus City Council to censure you for this behavior. And I call for you to resign as City Council President of Bucyrus. Thank you.
I
I don't need a response.
I am a victim. On September 19th, 2024, everybody knows what happened in the council clerk's office. And I think council should have censured somebody there, and they didn't. So, you know, I don't think these censures do anything, but Mr. Beeman, you're up.
Yeah, since we were talking about canines earlier, I thought it might be important to bring up Basco.
Name and address, please.
Logan Beeman, Freewire. So we were talking about canines, obviously. I think it's important to note that Basco, who is Galleon's canine, has a cyst on his prostate that requires a rather rare and complicated surgery. The cost is in excess of over $5,000, and they are looking for avenues to pay that. So I'm not sure how they're collecting the donations yet. It will be in Freewire. So, but just to make everyone aware. So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other additional public participation? Seeing no more public participation, moving on, we have the July 15th, 2025 special council meeting minutes. Has everybody had a chance to review those? You haven't had a chance to review them, Vicki?
No, I got a chance to review them, I had corrections to them, and they've been taken care of. It's just, Kelly, they're not in our documents on demand, and they weren't put in our packet.
They won't.
No.
Mr. Fankhausen?
Mrs. Slater.
I would like to make a motion to table the July 15th, 2025 minutes until the next meeting.
Okay, is there a second?
I second.
Mrs. Slater has made a motion to table July 15th, 2025 special council meeting minutes, seconded by Councilwoman DeShawn. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Minutes are tabled. We also have the running list here of minutes that are still being worked on. We did have the special ad hoc for the clerk hiring committee was closed, and I believe Aaron had provided the finalized minutes, well, the final draft minutes, because since the committee is closed, full council would need to approve those, but we're not approving them tonight. We were just given them tonight, so the clerk will email them to all the council members. Okay, Mr. Myers.
Based off previous practice, I believe what should happen in that instance is the members of that committee should all affix their signature to them agreeing to that's what happened, and then this body would vote to accept them.
Mr. Myers is correct. There has been some times in the past where the minutes of a closed committee or a former body that goes out of office. So like when we have our final council meeting of the year, the people that are no longer on the body will be given the minutes. There'll be a line for each of them to sign, and then it's brought back to the current full body to approve. So I will talk with the clerk about that tomorrow. Communications and petitions, we didn't receive any. Standing committee reports. Economic Development Chair, Mrs. Slater.
Is that the normal order?
Could you please speak into the mic?
Is that the normal order? Or are we changing orders? Apparently we changed orders. Okay, well. There has been some exciting things that we're working on currently. Fortunately, I can't speak on much of it right now, but I'm excited. Got to speak and work with McKenna Laser, and she's pretty excited, and I'm very excited for the rest of the council to meet her, and hopefully she can come to a council meeting soon. Other than that, I will start doing events and posting them on my Facebook page, as well as sharing it to the council clerk for her to post publicly of events for tourism and businesses going on around town. If anyone wants me to share an event, you're welcome to email me at my city email. It is on our website. And that's the end of my report.
Any questions for economic development? Seeing none. And I just was looking at this. I believe they're in alphabetical order now.
Okay, I was just not expecting to go first.
Finance Committee, Mr. Myers.
The administration is starting to work on their 2026 budget numbers, meeting with department heads, and I've been in the majority of those meetings, probably about 9 to 10 hours thus far, and they continue. From what I've heard, it's the hope that we will be able to bring that to the Finance Committee and then eventually to the full council within the next month is the target goal. And also, I just want to clarify, earlier this evening, a visitor spoke and said that I myself refused to discuss the 2025 budget. I just want to point out that Mr. Me, Mr. Moritz, and Mrs. DeShawn all have the opportunity to bring that up in open projects at every meeting, and they've also chosen not to, knowing that the administration is doing everything they can. Watching these meetings for the 2026 budget, every department head, every member of the administration is extremely cognizant of the budgetary concerns, and they're doing everything they can to make sure that the budget numbers reflect actually what we are able to afford.
End of your report?
That is the end.
Is there any questions for the Finance Committee? Seeing none. Health and Safety Chair, Mrs. DeShawn.
Our committee met on September the 18th, 2025, and the matters of ordinance number 36-2025 dealing with Norfolk Southern signal rates, Chapter 381 taxi cab licensing, Chapter 709 temporary business or food trucks, and Chapter 711 peddlers and solicitors law were discussed. End of my report.
Any questions for Health and Safety Chair? Seeing none. Plating Committee, Mr. May is not here, so
Here.
Ms. Sherrick.
I have nothing at this time.
Any questions for plating? Seeing none. Public Lands and Buildings, Chairwoman Sherrick.
I have no report at this time for public lands and buildings. I will reiterate, though, that the special ad hoc that we disbanded, all of the members of that were sent the minutes on September 15th to be able to go over, so I'm pretty sure they've had plenty of time to look them over before now. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Sherrick. Any questions for Public Lands and Buildings? Seeing none. Service Committee, Mr. Moritz, who's absent, so Ms. Sherrick.
Nothing at this time.
Any questions for Service Committee? Seeing none. Special Ad Hoc Committee for Rules of Procedure.
I have nothing to report at this time.
Any questions for the Special Ad Hoc Committee? Seeing none. Special Ad Hoc Committee for Property Maintenance, which is Mr. Me. And who was the vice chair? Was it Bill Stuckert or?
I think so.
Okay, he's not here, so we're just going to skip that one.
Actually, he's vice chair and the chair was...
No, that's the next one.
It's the same, though. It's not flip-flopped.
Okay, Property Maintenance, Special Ad Hoc Committee, oh, that's the one we just did. Special Ad Hoc for Zoning Map, I believe that is chaired by Mr. Mike Keefe, and Mr. May is vice chair, but he's not here, so we're going to skip that one. And now our favorite one, Traffic Commission, Mayor Truca.
I have no report about traffic.
Any questions for the Traffic Commission? No questions for Traffic Commission. Moving on, need a motion to accept committee reports collectively.
So moved.
Second.
Motion was made by Ms. Scher, seconded by Mr. Spiegel. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Committee reports have been accepted. Report of city officers, Mayor Truca.
Okay. I don't have a written report.
Oh, could you turn your microphone on, Mr.
Yes,
Mayor?
sir. I'd just like to say thanks to Vida. Vida Hospital had a groundbreaking last week. They're building a new orthopedic center. And if anyone's not been up there, they need to go take a ride. Right now, they've come a long ways. They're in the process of building a new access road to Pleasant Hill Drive, and it's going to circle around and drop out onto Plants Way, and that's proceeding quite fast. And I just like to say thanks to everybody that's being very constructive tonight. It's great.
Any questions for Mayor Truca? Seeing none. Service Director's report. He is not here. Did he provide us with a report? No. Anybody have any questions regarding something that the service director would answer? I'll forward, or let the mayor answer. Seeing none. Law Director, Mr. Gobrick.
I don't have a written report either, but I do have a question. What dates are the OML this year?
The 8th, 9th, and 10th.
8th, 9th, and 10th of October.
It's next week.
Next week.
Okay.
And the
Friday, Saturday,
deadline
or
to
Wednesday, Thursday,
reserve
Friday.
is tomorrow.
Right, so I think we should look into that. I got an email that said, that referenced 7th, 8th, and 9th instead of 8th, 9th, and 10th. And we have a special service committee meeting for the 7th. Not sure. I think we should I got an email from the hotel.
Mr. Gilbert, I believe in thinking about us having that discussion earlier, it might be because it's referring to the hotel. So people would come in the night before and they wouldn't stay on the 10th, they would stay on the 9th. Just
wanted to clear that up.
Who all is going to that? Who do we know is going to the OML?
Kaylee, me, Clarissa, Brandon, is that it?
You're going there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And to just look it up, it is the 8th through the 10th.
So that special service committee meeting on the 7th, I believe that's early in the morning, so
9
people could still make it down. Okay, so I've been advised that all department heads were made aware of that special service committee meeting, so they were all planning on attending that at 9 a.m. on the 7th of October. So, yeah, I believe there won't be a conflict. You'll be able to go to your, if anybody wants to stay down there, they could go down later on the 7th, so they can be up bright and early for the OML conference the next day. Is that the end of your report, Mr. Gobrick?
Yes.
Is there any questions for the law director? Okay. Auditor Lewis.
Due to tonight's, the first meeting of October being September 30th, I don't have any new report since we haven't turned over the month yet. Eileen Stanek from Meter Investments did come in, and that leads me to my referrals. We have some changes they wanted to make to the investment policy. So I would like to refer the investment policy to finance, as well as the resolution accepting rates from the county auditor. So I'd like to refer that to finance, and then transfers to finance as well. And that's it.
Okay, does anybody want to make a motion for those referrals that the auditor mentioned?
I will make a motion for the tax rates, the investment policy, and the transfer, which are items 3, 4, and 5 on the referral list tonight to finance.
I'll second that.
Mr. Myers made the motion for the referrals, which is numbers 3, 4, and 5 on the referral list, seconded by Councilwoman Sherrick. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Those referrals have been referred. Any questions for the auditor? Seeing no questions for the auditor, we don't have a treasurer's report.
I do have a question for the auditor. I know you guys have been doing the budget meetings, and just to address what Mr. White was so awfully concerned about, us not being concerned about the budget, even though we set the budget, you guys basically talk about what you need for the following year. How many hours would you guess that you've spent? Because it feels like every time I try to talk to somebody, they're in a budget meeting. So I'm just trying to get an idea of like, how many hours you think has been spent on that process, just so the
So far
public's
this
aware.
year?
Yeah.
I think Kevin's probably right with his 9 to 10, maybe a little more
Yeah,
than
but I
that.
think you and members of the administration probably put in many hours prior to those meetings, I think is what she's asking. for
Oh.
overall.
Yeah, I mean, conversations happen in passing, it's constantly happening.
Yeah.
So,
I've heard a couple times from a couple different department heads that they've gone to your office and had meetings, so I was just wondering if you had an idea roughly ballpark how much time you spent talking to people about their budgets. So.
Well, probably like 80% of my time.
80% of your time?
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Okay. So the treasurer's report is not in yet. Since the police chief is still here, if you'd like to come back up, Mr. Dorsey, and did you have any additional for your report? Or I had a question. Something you had mentioned with the dispatchers. You said that we can't handle 911 calls. So does that mean if somebody's on a landline in the city, which normally when you dial 911 does go down to dispatch, are they picking it up and then having to transfer it to the SO?
I'm saying police officers cannot answer that. Not our dispatchers. Our dispatchers are certified to answer it. Our police officers are not certified.
Yeah, but like
to
right
answer
now, there's a police officer on dispatch, right?
Correct.
So they're not able to answer any 911 calls.
Whether
So
it's
when
a
they
cell
come in, are
phone,
they transferring them?
landline, anything, it will go directly to the sheriff's office.
So the system is smart enough to know the 911 routing that
Yes.
we have a
There's
non...
a button, we hit disable, and it goes directly, all 911 calls go directly out there.
Okay, I didn't know there was a button.
Yep. It's disabled downstairs, and it rings directly out there.
Now, you mentioned the staffing. What's your thoughts on like a minimum staffing ordinance like we have for the fire department, which stipulates well, we used to, and then they wrote it in the contract, the last union contract. But what's your thoughts on a minimum staffing requirement? It says there shall be always 3 minimum PD.
That's what I would like to see. Initially, whenever I started here years ago, it was 4 people. It was 4 police officers. And then it lowered to 3. And now it's 2. I don't know how it's gotten lowered. I don't know when it's gotten lowered, but we're down to 2 is our minimum now. It's not safe.
And that's what was going on with the fire side, and Mr. Myers had taken the lead, and he had got this ordinance passed, which I believe it was 2022, that stated there shall always be 6 firemen. So is that something that we could possibly do with the police too, is have a minimum staffing?
Look into it, absolutely.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to take anything away from the firefighters. I respect those guys. What they do is extremely important. I think they should, I don't know how many firefighters are necessary. What they do is what they do. However, what I'm saying, I can only speak for how many police officers are necessary. I believe that 4 police officers are necessary. How many firefighters are necessary, I have no idea.
But I'm just wondering, why did we have that in an ordinance for the fire, but the police didn't have it in an ordinance for them? Why did one have it and not the other? It seems to me like...
But you were a part of that. The current administration at that time was trying to reduce it down to a number that was impossible to take on the EMS, which is what we were working on at that, and you were very much part of that.
Oh, yeah, wasn't there like a whole report that said it'd be like a cost-saving measure that was reported by Mr. Fankhauser? I thought so.
Well, I think that if we did have the staffing written in for the police, it could help the safety.
Absolutely.
Because that's...
I'd love to see that in there. Like I said, I don't want to take anything away from the firefighters. I respect those guys. What they do is, I'm not running into a burning building anytime soon. I'm sure they're not going to want to run into a shootout. What they do is what they do, and that's apples and oranges. However, if that's written in there, fantastic.
Well, it sounds like it's getting pretty dangerous out there if there's 50 cows laying in the front yard loaded and you guys are getting dispatched to calls. And at that property, that's kind of scary.
It's a different world, for us to think that, it's safe.
Just so everybody knows, a 50 cal will penetrate body armor.
Absolutely. It will. And that's the reason why it's extremely serious. Even if a police officer shows up thinking, oh, I'm safe, I have my body armor on, that's not going to stop it.
And that call there was 2 domestics simultaneous?
Yes. Well, within minutes. Which that has happened with decoy calls too. where one person's, responding on the north end of town, a decoy call comes in to pull you off of that call to go to another one. So we have to go the other direction to another more serious call, what we believe. But it was not a decoy call. It was another real call, and there was a .50 caliber gun found on the scene.
Yep. Mr. Spiegel?
Yes, and with all the talk we have about annexation, which means the police is going to get more and more outside of the city now, you're going to need more people, I think, on duty. Because if it goes all the way out to where Timken is, think about that. I mean.
But if we're lucky enough to get that annexation, we're gonna bring in more income. which
Yeah,
means
I know
we'll be
that,
able to
I know
afford
that,
it,
but
which
we gotta
is
look,
actually a
we gotta
good
look
thing.
at the future though, we're gonna do it. So,
Well, I'd be in favor, if somebody wanted to make the referral, refer this minimum staffing
I
to,
was waiting on you to finish, and then I will.
Like I said, when I started here, it was 4 police officers, and it was a lot safer, and it felt safer whenever you show up on a call and you look around and there's plenty of police officers. And then whenever you show up now, there's 2 people.
what year
or you're
was
by
that you
yourself.
started here?
Oh, a long time ago.
1970.
1903, he's not quite there.
I have two questions.
Mrs. Slater?
Yeah, the first one is that something that can come, when's the next, do you know when the next contract negotiation is?
The contract, I'm not sure when the contract negotiates. I believe
I think it's next
start
year.
next year.
Is it next year?
Yeah, because this year is Ask Me Again.
I
and
believe they
then-
start next year, and I don't think it's up until the following year, though.
My only thought was that maybe that's something that can be, because that's where I think it originated at, right, with fire? It started with contract or vice versa?
Well, it was in 2022, an ordinance was passed. It was an actual ordinance that said there shall always be at all times 6 firemen on duty. And then when we just renewed the IAF contract, that ordinance was,
Incorporated into their.
it was, we disbanded the ordinance, but then in the union contract, it went to 5 minimum staff. So they actually lost 1.
Before I do my other question, is that, I would assume this is probably more relevant.
Yeah.
Do-
It was started because we had somebody in the administration telling the fire department that they could not put the staffing in that needed to be done. We don't have anybody telling Mr. Dorsey that he can't. It's the fact that he doesn't have the people he needs. So I don't think the minimum staffing is a thing that we need to worry about. I think it's the fact that we gotta figure out how to get him more people.
And more money.
So you want the billet, referred to, or the billet?
Another reason whenever I
Right.
was
Already
coming
had it
here
open.
is I am aware that civil service is planning on meeting sometime next week. I am aware of that. I am aware that, I'm sorry.
She's saying it's
I'm
tomorrow.
terrible at reading lips. What did you say, tomorrow?
She's saying it's tomorrow, civil service meeting tomorrow.
Okay, it's tomorrow, which I'm hoping that if we do test, and we can test, I'm just hoping I can hire enough people to get our minimum staffing up, is what I'm hoping
Chief,
for.
Chief,
That's what I figured we were really looking at.
have you ever figured out what it would cost to hire 2 more officers?
2 more officers, I'm sorry, that's the numbers
Did you
lady.
know?
I don't know off the top of my head, no.
Okay.
It would, well, 2 questions, I didn't get my second question in, but it would probably depend if they had to be trained or not, right? Because people
Correct.
send them to academy, and you guys have to pay them while they're in academy, correct?
Yes,
Do they pay their own way for academy, or do you guys also put that?
we should pay for the police
Okay.
academy. That's why I would prefer to have people already certified, already
Right.
been through the police academy.
Self-service
Unfortunately, we
extra
haven't.
points to people who are already certified.
Yes, yes. And lateral transfers are also more attractive as well.
And then my last question, just to give a little bit of background information. Kaylee and I had this conversation where the percentage given back to us, I forget what that's called, from the state,
Local government funds?
thank you, has been drastically reduced, which seems to correlate with your story of that staffing has been reduced, because now the majority of it's coming out of the,
General.
thank you, general fund. Have we looked, look, obviously we can't be alone in this, right? Have we looked at have we talked to any other agencies and see what they're doing, or what, if they're also struggling, or?
The other agencies, as far as their staffing, what they're doing for recruitment, is that what you mean?
Yeah, recruitment, or just like getting, like
Actually,
staying
I
solvent.
was over at North Central State College about less than a month ago, and I was talking to former Chief Kepke, and there's quite a few people over there who's getting ready to graduate, and they are, I don't think staffing would be a problem as far as filling the positions. Exactly. Sherry hit the nail on the head. The problem's going to be funding.
Right.
It's going to be money.
And that's kind of what I was getting at with the decrease in funds from the state, so I didn't know if you had that conversation with any other agencies.
As far as where funding is coming from, no. We've been trying to look into grants, but I think every agency's looking into grants. Grants are very difficult to get as far as for staffing.
And to speak to Dorsey's point, the last couple years, we had actually received ARPA funds that were meant specifically to keep two policemen and briefly a dispatcher, but then it switched just to maintaining those two officers, and it paid for them for, I think, at least 2 years. That was nice. Unfortunately, it ended last year, so those two officers are fully being paid out of our general/safety forces fund now, but those grants, like the rest of ARPA money, have dried up, and everyone who's hired with those grants is now searching for money. So it just becomes a little more difficult to find people willing to give it freely, I guess.
So
But
not
our
only did we
police
lose the
department-
local government funds, but then when a factory closed up, like Swan, Baja, and all that, we lost all the tax revenue. So we're getting like double and triple hit here.
And then the last thing is that you can ask Kaylee. I've been in and out looking at the budget and thinking about where we could possibly work on things. I actually had a meeting with the county commissioners and just briefed them on the research that I was doing. It wasn't asking for any decisions at this point, but I reached out to Lake County, and I have plans to reach out to Sandusky County and Mansfield, Richland County. They have a centralized dispatch. It's completely restructured the way, and it's different ways that they could do it. So there's people who actually put something on the like for a levy on the ballot, and there's other ones where it's basically like similar to like a mutual aid. They basically pool their resources and what they would be giving to their dispatchers locally. My biggest concern is, and just giving my background, because I worked in corrections for quite a while, is and we had to make calls, and I worked in control center, which is like dispatch for corrections. The call keeps transferring, right? So like cell phones aren't routed to you guys directly, right? They're routed to the county.
You mean a 911 cell
Yes.
phone call? It depends on where the person's at.
Okay, because I know that I've heard that
It depends on where they're at and what tower it's
pinging.
right.
So, like, that could be in one transfer, and that's like time lost. And I think that everyone agrees that every time that happens, it's time lost and literally playing a game of telephone. I think back to what happened with Officer Wyerman with the shooting on, I just forgot the name of that road. Thank you. Because they came from Morrow County, right?
Yes.
And had ended up here. So how many times did that call have to be transferred just within inside our county? Multiple times?
Well, he noticed that car driving in town. That actually wasn't a call.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he came up and followed it.
Oh, okay, it was just a bolo? Okay. But like if it
The
was like a
incident started in
chase.
Morrow County.
Yeah, but if it would have been a chase, like how many times that call would have been transferred? I just think about safety and, streamlining. So that's something that I'm looking into. I'd be happy to have a conversation with you, and obviously we have to have agreement.
Like I said numerous times before, I'm open to any and every suggestion from any and everywhere.
Okay.
If we can find the best solutions, I'm willing to listen, I'm willing to talk, I'm willing to have those conversations. Because at this point, whatever makes the best business decision, that's what I'm willing to do.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't trying to bust your chops a few weeks ago. I said, I'm willing to listen to anybody to have a suggestion to come from anywhere.
Well, I think what's happening here is we're being constrained with the budget, so people are thinking outside the box,
Oh, yeah.
creative thinking, you know.
That's the only way you're gonna get anything done.
Like
I mean,
Mrs.
nobody
Slater,
has the
she's
exact
talking
answer
about
right
central
now.
district dispatch, which would be, that is a thing where every police department in a county
And
would
fire
all be
department.
going through one dispatch center
Mhm.
instead of every little department having their own.
Yeah. I mean, that discussion's been had before.
Mhm. I know a lot of times they were worried about the fact that it would be additional money. That's what the commissioners are worried about, but there's ways that basically the funds that you're already spending for dispatch are allocated, essentially moving your dispatchers, because you still have Bucyrus-specific dispatchers
A
essentially.
huge concern I have with that is, let's say, which we already did have a discussion about that, and we were given a number. My problem, my big problem with that is, let's say the number what we were given now, what's to stop them from saying, okay, that's the number this year? Well, next year it's this number. You know, once it's already gone from here, let's say next year, well, okay, well, next year it's this much.
Well, and to your
And then
point,
once it's gone, well, what are we gonna do? We're gonna say, well, no, we don't want it.
When did this
Back.
discussion happen?
I'm not sure. Yeah, it's happened a few
Many
times.
times.
I mean, it went back to, I believe, a couple administrations ago.
but I think that was about contracting out, which is different than what the centralized dispatch that I've seen how it's funded. So it's not like you're paying the county sheriff's department. I think, I might be wrong. I've been corresponding with a couple of different people.
So
I
you
believe
could-
it comes out of, actually, like, it would be paying a different, I think it's EMA. I can't remember. I'll have to look it up to see what they said. But, like, it's not staying just directly in the sheriff's department. It's actually like a coordinated emergency services for fire, police.
A ballot initiative.
Mhm.
And you'd have to get each agency or each jurisdiction to be willing to participate. That's gonna be the hard part.
Yeah, if you don't get everybody in on it, then the savings isn't there.
Right, and it's not
If
always
one
a-
police department holds out and says we're not joining it, then there's no savings.
And it's not, like, when we say it's a ballot initiative, I just want to clarify that there's a difference between it doesn't always mean increased funds too. So this is just something like briefly in the works, but it's not going to be anything I'm going to get done in the next 3 months, but I just wanted to let everyone know that it's important to me and I'm thinking about it.
Like I said, yeah, I believe you have my email address. Go
I
ahead.
sent you an email.
Sent me numerous emails. No, I'm joking.
That's right, you're not the only one.
I remember when Chief Ossenheimer came in here, he was saying that the budget was getting so bad, we was really close to, and he said he refused to do this, but he said take it down to one officer on duty at night. And he said, I won't do that to my department. He said, that's a safety concern, you know, I'm not gonna have
Two
one
is
officer on the street and.
Yeah. 2 is actually very unsafe. You know, like I said, this.
Well, what Ossheimer said was, he said, 2, we're at the same level of like a small village.
Right.
And we're kind of a
We
bigger
posted
city.
something online whenever, I believe it was the scenario where they ended up arresting the guy with the rifle. It was posted on our Facebook page, and there was comments on there saying how there was 2 police officers working, and people were beside themselves saying, small villages have more than 2 people working. I never read the comments because I don't do the social media thing.
You're talking to 50 Cal?
Yes. People were
I never
reading those
even seen
comments
that.
and they were losing their minds because we had 2 police officers working, and they were looking at, you know, a city our size. They just couldn't believe it. And I'm like, it is what it is.
But to go ahead and say that we are doing a civil service test tomorrow, and we do have the possibility of getting police officers from that civil service test that are already fully trained.
Yes.
So there's a civil service test tomorrow, not just a meeting?
No,
Well, it's a meeting.
Oh, okay.
that's where they'll decide to
They'll
schedule
decide
the
when,
test.
I was gonna say, we need to make sure everybody knows when the next civil service test is.
So does the billet currently, are we full? Every position on the billet is full or not?
No.
The
So
bill
we're-
doesn't need changed.
No.
We just need to get them more money so they can.
So how many down are we compared to what the billet allows?
I think we just have a minimum.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a
4
maximum.
people.
for the-
believe we're down 4.
Yes.
We're down 4 officers
To
right
the,
now?
to the billet, yeah.
Holy moly.
We have been for a couple of years now.
Wow. You guys need to go through that budget with a fine tooth comb.
Well, we have been working on the budget, you know, and I've been one of those people you referred to earlier who's probably given her a few extra gray hairs. Because I'm new to this and.
Well, you just shave it all off.
Absolutely. I started doing it years ago. You might want to start doing it as well, sir.
I'm going to go for the salt and pepper. I'm going for the salt and pepper.
I got that going on as well. But anyhow, no, you've helped me a lot, you know, whenever I came with my questions because, you know, I'm not sure about the budget and I appreciate everything you've done for me. And it's been a lot of help. You missed our last meeting. I'll let it slide. Anyhow, anything else?
This minimum staffing, somebody want to make the referral for it to the health and safety?
It's not the minimum staffing, it's the money.
Yes. It's the money.
It's already in the billet. We don't have to worry about minimum staffing because nobody's trying to tell him he can't have people. It's the fact that we need people.
Mr. President,
Mrs. Slater.
I would just like to make a suggestion. I know it's too late for this upcoming election, but for those listening at home and seeing how passionate everyone is about it, we did put something on about the ballot and it failed. I really think that probably
That
needs
was
to
an
be-
equipment levy only.
Right, but if you think about it this, if you pay for the equipment, it allocates.
None of that
frees up-
money could have been used for staffing.
Mr. Fankhauser, may I please finish my sentence?
Yes, ma'am.
If you give money for equipment, it would then free up money for staffing, because you're not spending that money on the equipment, you're spending it on staffing. So that was my only thing. I don't know if what your needs are, that would be something that I think that would a discussion to have with you, but I would be fully willing to make a referral for whatever you need to get that back on. Obviously, it's not gonna be this November, but the next ballot.
At this time, I don't think I think we could probably wait, to be honest with you. Because what I'm actually actively doing right now is I'm trying to get some grants. Yeah, I appreciate what you're trying to do. That's awesome. But I'm trying to get grants because something I don't want to do is to go to the people right now and ask for any type of levies right now.
I respect that.
Because everybody's taxed
Right.
a lot.
Right.
And right now, I would rather try to get grants to see if I can get equipment. And then if I can get equipment through grants, then we could try to free up some money to hopefully work on personnel. As long as I don't get grant money to get for equipment and then I got 18 people working, no, I'm joking. You know, which we have been looking into that, and there's a lot of, I'm surprised how many people in this community do grant writing. And the more people I talk to, the more people I keep hearing about, hey, so-and-so does grant writing, so-and-so does grant writing. I've been hearing a lot of people, so early on, I'm gonna see what I can do first, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So maybe a year or two from now, if we're still struggling and we're not getting where we need to be, then I'd consider it. But actually, I don't want to name any names, but she's sitting right there. She's given me quite a few names as well, as far as grant writers. So I'm going to see what we can do first. I appreciate it, though. Anybody else? Can I run away?
Good.
Right away.
Oh, thanks for
Right
answering all
away.
the questions.
Thank you.
guys.
Okay, that's the end of the police chief's report. There's no fire report. Now, we're not doing any referrals. Need a motion to accept and file the city officers' reports.
So moved. A second.
Mr. Myers made the motion, seconded by Councilwoman Sherrick. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. Visitors' input regarding standing/special committees and of city officers. Is there any visitors' input?
Greg White, 1125 Hillcrest Drive. A couple of things here. So the budget was never talked about last year because the citizens were denied to even look at that last year. And Mr. Myers was the chairman of that, and nobody was allowed to look at it. Ever since there, no one has been able to sit down and discuss the budget since that time. Now we're in talks of discussing the 26 budget. Okay? But it was never
Mr.
brought.
President.
Excuse me.
Point of order.
What's the point of order, Mrs. Slater?
I just want to state that is a bald-faced lie because I was a citizen and I requested to speak to Kaylee about it and she graciously talked about it. So I don't know where you're coming from that the citizens never got to see the budget. I wasn't on council and spoke to her about it. Did you not call her? Why are we lying?
I think he's referring to a meeting specifically for the finance committee. Like, it was kind of.
But the citizens don't have any, or the council, all they do is approve the budget. They don't actually go through the numbers. What? Talk about
Let's just hear it out and let's let Mr. White continue uninterrupted. And if you don't like some
I
of the
just don't
things he
like
said,
people
you
lying.
could send out an email or a press release or something.
You don't have to be disrespectful. I
It's
wasn't
his
being
public
disrespectful.
participation. It's not illegal to.
Impertinent, slanderous
Point of order. Can we continue the meeting, please?
is not allowed. So could you please
We're
rule
going
a
to
point of
continue the
order?
meeting. We're continuing the meeting. I'm
So
going to
you're
hit
not
the
giving him a
play.
warning for lying?
Hold up,
Okay.
Mrs. Slater.
Noted.
I'm going to allow the speaker to have his First Amendment rights and continue his speech at the podium.
Okay, once again, in past practice, we were supposed to have a meeting, but it was deferred to the water lines. My not lying about this. That meeting was to specifically discuss with the public the budget. But it turned out to be about a 3-hour BS meeting on water lines. And a lot of people got up and left. Who cared? People came to that meeting to discuss the budget. Okay, so it is not a lie. Okay? And two, when you call a point of order, and I want to just point this out before I continue here, it has to be about a rule either in the rules of procedure or 111 to call a point of order out on any speaker. Two, the other thing too is, so if the administration is doing all these budget cuts, okay, why haven't they been presented to council and the public? Why are we hiding all this crap? To me, if you're saving money, why isn't that being put forth in these meetings? Or in the mayor's report, or the service safety director, or the auditor's report, okay? Why aren't we putting this stuff out to the public that we are saving money? And where are we saving money? So another thing I questioned too, and I found out this recently too, that a city employee, and I won't name him because it's public record, John Ernsberger, that worked for the city water department, was temporarily laid off. And then, because of the union contract, he was put on, okay, back on, and another employee was booted, let go. Is that true, Mr. Mayor? I'd like to know that. I'd like to know the truthful answer because there are some people out there that like to know that also.
Come on in and talk to me and we'll talk.
Okay, I'll be in tomorrow. So the thing is this. If you're going to want to call out people for things, make sure you have your facts straight first. Because I do a lot of research, okay? I put in the time of this stuff. And I'll tell you what, it's getting pretty pathetic that we're not, the citizens of this town, are not being told the truth all the time. That's all. Thank you.
Any additional public participation? Seeing no additional public participation, we are up onto the old and unfinished business. Now, just so everybody's aware, the reason there's no legislation on the agenda tonight, there was a couple pieces requested, but they were going to require 6 council members voting to waive the second and third reading. So that's why there was no legislation on this, because we knew we had notice from Mr. Moritz and Mr. Me that they weren't going to be able to attend this meeting. So that's why there's no legislation. So, old and unfinished business.
Mr. President?
Mrs. DeShawn.
I have 2 things. First one, This is going to be my 5th request of you to send an email to Auditor Lewis for the making of the deduction from my pay for the April 22nd, 25 unexcused absence. 5 times. Twice by email,
I
3
keep
verbally.
forgetting about it, and more important pressing stuff keeps coming up, but I promise you, I will get this done here by the end of this week.
Thank you.
Any other old and unfinished business?
Yes, my second. At the September 16th, 2025 council meeting, my neighbor, Greg White, made the following statement, and I quote, "Mrs. DeShawn, this I can address to you directly. Under my First Amendment rights, I am issuing you a cease and desist order against you. Do not refer to me as your neighbor in any context, shape, or form, or manner ever again. I am not your neighbor anymore. Neighbors don't turn their backs on neighbors or belittle them to a point of defamation or harassment in council meetings. Merriam-Webster defines neighbor as one living or located near another. Oxford Language defines neighbor as a person living near or next door. Cambridge Dictionary defines neighbor as someone who lives very close to you. Currently, I have no intention of moving from our home at 1108 Hillcrest Drive that my husband and I had built in 2004. As long as Mr. White continues to reside at 1125 Hillcrest Drive in the home he and his wife purchased in 2016, we will, by definition, continue to be neighbors. Also, a cease and desist order is an official order handed down by a government agency or a court of law directing a person to stop doing something immediately. Therefore, Mr. White had no legal authority to issue such an order to me. However, should Mr. White wish to petition a court of law to issue a cease and desist order to me to suspend my calling him my neighbor, his constitutional rights allow him to do so. Thank you.
Okay, any other old and unfinished business?
I have some.
Mrs. Slater.
All right, so just to be transparent and clear here, we're talking about researching and facts. Numerous times it's been stated that Robert's Rules of Order, Chapter 23 is Robert's Rules of Order for point of order, in case you guys want the reference, states a point of order can be made when a rule or violation of the orders occurs. So just for clarification, Rule A4 of the Council Rules and Procedure for Section A is council participation, and subsection 4 is for the rule regarding personal, impertinent, or slanderous remarks. That is the part that I keep reiterating, and there's 2 definitions of impertinent. One is irrelevant, and the other is rude. And I would say that most of Mr. White's remarks would be, because I won't be shameful to state it out loud. I also will state that it is very slanderous to state, I am only stating facts, and then state that I did not do my own research, that I did not create my own material. And in speaking to people who actually have CRAs, you don't reinvent the wheel. I was specifically trying to identify issues with our city where we lack. It has nothing to do with whatever happened in 2013 when I was 19 years old. Because let's just think about that real quick. It is a slanderous remark, 1. 2, it's impertinent. 3, that means when I was 19 years old, I saved a PDF on my computer and decided I was going to be on council in 2025 and then decide to pitch the CRA. How much sense does that make? And I'm not going to say that I'm going to have a cease and desist because I'm not a pansy about it. What I'm going to do is if this type of behavior continues, I will pursue it outside of here. I am not above being criticized. I am not above being redressed. However, I am still an individual outside of here. I am still a person. Vicky's still a person. Every single person who has come down on this is a person. And I would just say, I would caution, because you threatened to also contact my school, that this is my, I guess, threat or caution, is that there's avenues outside of council to deal with those types of things. And it's that type of behavior. Again, you said, we don't say anything positive. That is the biggest line of crap I have ever heard. I have seen so much positive out of each and every individual person out here on this council wanting to do good. It is when we are constantly berated and bogged down with crap that has nothing to do with running city government, we aren't able to work. You want to know, what are we doing? What are we hiding? The administration's afraid to take a step and put it out there, because I think Kurt was saying, if I threw 20 puppies in the river, I threw 20 puppies in the river if I saved them. That's how they feel. They can't make one single step without being criticized. If you guys want to be positive and contribute, find something positive to bring to the city. We are not your whipping posts for your crap that you're concerned about. We can take criticism, and we should. However, that does not mean that we are your whipping post. If you have ideas, bring it to us. Bring it to Kaylee. I was a citizen mostly before this, and I spoke to Kaylee probably more than anyone, not to be rude about her, toot my own horn, but she is incredibly patient and will take the time to explain it to you. And the rudeness of tooting your own horn back there, Mr. White, and the constantly making fun of my laugh and calling me the C word during a council meeting while I was a citizen, it's outrageous for you to go up here and say that I'm being disrespectful or unprofessional for taking notes on your concerns. Enough is enough. If you have something to say and something to contribute, do it. If you don't have anything nice to say, maybe your mother didn't do a good job teaching you. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. Let's quit with this crap. I'm not running for council. I'm not running as a write-in. I don't care. I just want us to do something. And every time I've tried to do something, like the CRA or the rewrap, look what happens. Now I can't have that idea myself because what? I'm a woman? What is your
Mrs.
excuse?
Slater, I don't think
This is completely pertinent, because the problem is we can't get anything done. And you can say, put out a press release, whatever. It needs to be said on the record. We can't get anything done between the BS public records requests and the BS litigation and everyone's personal life being flayed open for the public to see. That's not what we're here for. If you want better governance, be the example you want to see. Don't be a jerk. Thank you.
We don't have any public participation from the audience right now. So we're still under old and unfinished business. For the sake of the meeting, I'm just going to continue on with that. Does anybody have any final old and unfinished business before I move on to new and miscellaneous business? I see no old and unfinished business, so we're moving on new and miscellaneous business. Okay, so it has came to my attention that the council clerk has suggested that we put the casual secretary back on the billet and manpower that used to be in there. So I discussed it with her, and it was discussed with the mayor. The mayor was okay with it. So we'd like to make a referral for that, to put it in finance, the casual secretary position.
I'll make that motion, put it in.
You want to do that
Refer to
with
finance.
Green as one motion?
Oh, and yeah, and then we had Walter Drain, needed referred to finance as well, so.
Sure, I'll amend it.
I'll second those.
Okay, Mr. Spiegel made the motion to refer the casual secretary position and Walter Drain to finance, seconded by Councilman Myers. Any discussion?
Which is numbers 1 and 2 on the referral list on the back.
Yeah, these are numbers 1 and 2 on the referral list. And any discussion?
Before we refer it, casual secretary, is this the president's secretary? Is that what that's basically?
I think we can discuss all that and find out what the intentions are during the finance committee meeting and move appropriately.
I agree with Mr. Myers. Any other further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote for the referral. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
It has passed. So numbers 1 and 2 are referred.
Wait, that was just for the casual secretary.
No, that was the two.
We did both.
We did both.
Oh, I would have asked for division if I knew that. I apologize. I don't know who Walter Drain is either.
2 publishes our permanent records.
Gotcha.
Okay. Addition. We could have those items on the committee meetings agenda, and then they could request it, knowing that we already have the legislation drawn up. The law director had provided it to us earlier, several days ago. Ms. Sherrick?
We had gone through that and realized that as long as the one okayed it to the other, and I believe every one of these groups has okayed it to the group that has asked for the legislation. Which is how we went about stopping it from coming from 2 different groups in the first place.
But the legislation request form.
No,
Yeah, Kelly's gonna speak.
But previously, the legislation has been coming from the Finance Committee, and it needs to come from the originating committee. So, can I see that piece right there?
This?
Yeah. So like the pieces are coming from Finance Committee, and they need to say Service Committee or Plating Committee. So that's why I'm requesting that it comes back, and I know that everybody in the committee agreed to it, but just to have that motion that says that Plating requests the legislation.
It might have been done improperly previously, and she found later on, even further back, where it...
Since '21, it's been done incorrectly. So it just needs to be done properly so that, and it was always done, for example, Service would say, like they did, everyone agrees to it, providing Finance says okay. And then Finance does the talking, does what they want to, but then when the piece goes to the law director's office, it comes back to that originating committee.
We were doing it wrong previously, and if it had something to do with money, it had to come out of Finance for the actual legislation.
Finance just has to approve it, but the originating committee is still the piece of legislation, because the action is still from that originating committee.
Was it Ratliff that's the one that put us?
Yeah, I think when we had all the change in clerks, it kind of got lost.
Yeah.
Well, no, it was one of the attorneys stated that we had been doing it wrong previously and that it needed to come completely out of there.
So here's my
That was the
suggestion.
conversation in this
We already got the legislation, the law director's got them drawn up. We'll have it in the packets for the Thursday committee meetings. Those committees can request it, and then we'll immediately have the following special council meeting, already knowing what the legislation is. So it's all the way it's supposed to be.
And the auditor has a few pieces that need to be passed as emergency.
Oh, and the auditor, you got some stuff that needs to be passed as emergency too? On Thursday?
The referrals from tonight.
No.
We got transfers from last week.
So this special council meeting, we would have to have in the media notice exactly what pieces of legislation we're going to pass. So we got the OPWC one, the Allmiller one, and an appropriation one.
And I would like to add
We
the
have seven
CRA
pieces.
legislation to that.
Oh, we got the CRA one too. So,
As well as the stuff we referred tonight, I would assume the transfer has to be.
It was, I believe when we spoke about it,
Kelly. It was fund creation, transfers, and appropriations.
And that's all as one piece of legislation?
No.
No, they're
Three
multiple.
separate.
It's the creation, and then there's an appropriation for the victim.
The victim's advocate, and I believe the airport as well.
But remember,
Airport was separate.
We don't need to be that specific.
remember when we talked about this the other, well, what day was it, when it was in your office?
Yesterday.
Yesterday, that all you need to say is just appropriations. You don't need to get specific and state what those appropriations are
Correct.
when you do your.
Yes.
Now, is that legislation already been typed up?
Yep,
It's
have
all
everything
ready to
ready to
go? And you've reviewed it, Vicki?
Yes.
Yes.
So what we'll do is we'll put them all on the, we'll put them all in the committee packets.
I haven't reviewed all of them because I haven't been provided all of them.
I can give them to you before you leave.
She said she'll give them to you before we leave.
Oh, okay.
So, 4 different things, special meeting for 4 different things Thursday.
And then we have,
OPWC, all Miller appropriations, and Mr. Law Director, which one did you say? CRA? CRA?
there's 7 pieces. 1, 2,
There's 7 pieces of legislation?
yes. There's 4 ordinances, 3 resolutions, and then the CRA an ordinance or a resolution. Okay. Because I have 4 ordinances and 3 resolutions plus that ordinance.
Do they already have ordinance numbers assigned to them? So we could just put in a media notice, the ordinance numbers.
No, I have to put in the description.
We do have to put in the description?
But like Vicki said, just appropriations. I don't have to specify waterworks, lands and buildings. I don't have to do this. I can just say
Oh, okay.
an appropriation.
Okay, so does somebody want to make a motion to have this special meeting called for Thursday directly after the committee meetings for
Three of
the,
us, or can the mayor just call this one?
I'll just put my name in if you want.
oh, the mayor could just do it.
Yeah, that's what I say.
That would be
Makes it
easier, as long as he's on board with it. Okay, we'll just let the mayor call it then. Directly after the committee meetings.
Can we state at 8 PM or after the committee meetings, whichever comes first?
Mhm.
That's pretty hopeful. Well, whichever comes.
Whichever comes last. Yeah.
So the 7 pieces, how many of them have you already reviewed, Vicki?
Oh, gosh, Kurt,
I'll get her, make sure she has them. I'll make sure she has them.
Well, I just don't want to be doing edits on the council floor.
I know when we did the paperwork for requests, I marked that I wanted to get them, and I haven't seen anything yet either on them.
I'll
We'll
make
get
sure
them sent
everybody has them
tonight.
tonight.
We will send them out tonight before everybody goes home here, so they'll be in your inbox. Mayor's gonna call the meeting, so any other new miscellaneous business?
Is it gonna be 8 o'clock or immediately after?
So if the committee meetings don't last 2 hours, then we would have to be sitting around waiting,
I said,
so
or whichever. Just put after, it's fine.
we could put 7 o'clock or immediately after.
That's fine. You think they're gonna get done in 2 hours?
I would love to see them get done in 2 hours.
Okay.
Oh, this came up. This, where's that?
Which one?
The joint committee meetings.
Oh, yes.
So we had found that in the past, the way these joint committee meetings were done
This is just a
was
sample.
the meeting opened up with public participation as a joint. And then there was no more public participation in each committee. And then the joint regular committee, before it closed up, there was one final public participation. Does that ring a bell, Vicki? Does that sound like?
Aaron had some
It doesn't matter.
info.
We weren't allowed to do joint anymore. We found out that was the
It
same
was
as having a council
technically a
meeting.
council meeting.
And that's why we have just committee meetings that just happen to go
So
consecutively.
we took
on
the word
specific
joint
night.
out of them because of that at that time.
To keep from breaking the law.
however,
Exactly.
the word joint, yes, has been removed, but that legislation hasn't been approved yet. So the
Okay.
current legislation still says joint.
Okay, so here's my.
You mean your draft 111s? The draft 111s?
Okay, so here's my thought, because of in light of what you had told me and in light of that. Because the ORC or the Rules and Procedures still states that we are to have a joint regular committee and we have to follow what is on the books. I understand how it may have been misunderstood to be a meeting of all committees working together at the same time. So what I did was I changed the layout a little bit, and I put it, instead of being members present and listing all council members, I changed it to say each individual committee and each member of those committees. And then the first item would be the committee chair of the first committee will call the meeting to order. You have your public participation, then each committee, that committee will mention which members are present for that committee. And then as you go on down, then at the end of the joint committee meeting, then it would be public participation. Because if you don't do this the way it was intended, then you're gonna have to go back to separate meetings at separate times and try to juggle everybody's schedules. That was the whole.
What we
By
do now,
technical
is
default,
separate
that's what
meetings
we're
at separate
doing.
times. One starts after the
consecutively
next
after
one
another,
is.
it is exactly what we're doing. We went back to.
Same night.
It's just all the same night, and they're just consecutively done. Because you can't exactly set the meeting for, I can say 8 and 8:15 when a meeting doesn't end till 9:30 and then start.
Right, but this is what, we have to follow what's on the book.
If we do what we have in there, we're breaking the law,
Right.
and that is a lawsuit on the city.
Right. It's
and
not
we've
a-
been informed of that. That is why it was changed.
Right, I understand
So
what you're
if we
saying.
go back to it, we will be sued.
Mr. President?
I disagree.
Mr.
but
President,
okay.
is this
Mrs.
something
Slater.
is this something we can refer to the law director to?
Why are these, aren't you guys supposed to be doing these ad hoc rules? What's the status on them? I mean,
Mr.
are we
President,
gonna get new rules before the end of this term?
Mr. President,
Mrs. Slater.
can you please, I was just trying to stop the banter. Could we just get a determination from the law director? That way we can just have a final word on it, and then him work with Kelly to be compliant with both local and state
Well,
law.
he can give an opinion.
So should we go ahead and finish this meeting? Like, are we to the excused council members? Because we've kind of just been sitting here for 5 minutes.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll discuss this, me and the clerk will discuss this tomorrow, and we'll try to have a meeting with the law director or something. Look into the legalities of the way the current 111 is. So, you got court tomorrow?
Yes.
I thought Wednesdays was now court.
Can we?
Oh, it was Tuesdays that wasn't. Okay. Does anybody have any other new miscellaneous business, or I'm gonna move on to excusing council members who are absent?
I'll make a motion to excuse the council members that are absent.
Second.
Councilwoman Sherrick has made a motion to excuse all of the absent council members, seconded by Councilman Myers. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. Need a motion to adjourn.
So
Aye.
Second.
Councilwoman Slater made a motion.
No,
Terry did.
Oh,
my brain's fried. It was Terry.
Councilman Spiegel,
I was already voting.
seconded by Councilwoman Sherrick. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? We're adjourned at 8:55.